What's your favourite conspiracy theory?
Conspiracy theories are very dangerous things to talk about, aren't they? I'd actually like to hear your views on it. My view is that conspiracy theories is the wrong terminology for theories. You know, I think it's perfectly healthy to have theories on how things work. And, I mean, the ultimate thing for me is always that just follow the money. I've said it a million times. If you want to know how things actually work, follow the money. If you look in America, you can see who's pushing for policy change and then what shares they've just bought. Okay? They're making that decision based on a monetary return for themselves. People think America isn't corrupt. Of course it is. Pelosi, she's buying shares in companies and then working on legislation linked to those companies. So she knows...
Which companies? Do you know?
I don't remember the name of one. I just saw that she just bought shares in a company that they're within the political system. They're working on policies to make that company, if it goes through, have access to data, for example, right? I know that Meta and stuff. Meta's gone up 300% in the last year, right? So they're part of, like, Mark Zuckerberg comes to Capitol Hill. He apologises for his platform having problems. So they play the political game that they're bringing them to account, and then don't do anything about their control and power, because actually, ironically, Nick Clegg, who used to be the Deputy Prime Minister in England, he worked on policy in England and then left government after being ousted out in an election, and then went and got a job at Facebook in America. He's now number 3 at Facebook.
What does he do?
Foreign policy relations, something like that. So if you know that your big payday and your massive payout is going to be when you leave office, your objective is to probably support those companies that are going to give you that payday.
Yeah. Well, it's the same with Boris Johnson as well. He's doing the same thing right now, isn't he? He's like...
These guys, they do it to make their mark in history, and they do it to create a brand for themselves. And I would say nearly everybody in government I've ever met is genuinely in it for themselves. They're not thinking about how to make the world a better place for the people. I have not really seen that in politics, right? They're meant to be there to represent the people and help the people. Don't really see it. You name me a politician that's standing up and actually fighting for people and making things happen for people. Like one person.
None. I reckon there are some good people that go into it, but then a mix of they get corrupted, or they just see how corrupt it actually is, and then they realise, okay, to win this game, I've got to be this.
Well, it's the same with Simon, right? You tried politics once.
Yeah, I went quite deep into it. I mean, to get elected, first of all, you have to say something that's popular, not something you believe. I mean, maybe the two align sometimes, but very often the policies are so complicated, you can't be aligned on every item. Like, I think the school system's broken. I think it needs total reform. If I led on that, I'd be killed. There'd be people... There's so much infrastructure and money in the university system, for example. If I said I'm going to dismantle that, you'd have every lobby group and every educational infrastructure working against me to make sure that doesn't happen.
So how do you do it without getting killed?
You go on TikTok 4 years ago and start educating people there, and go where the people are. I mean, I don't... Education in particular, my personal opinion is... I say fix education system. In reality, you need to replace it. I don't think fixing it is really viable, because it's 100 years old. They know for the last 30 years it's not working. If it was a social experiment to see if this system works, we already know people are financially illiterate. They are. People don't understand how money works. They buy a house, they think it's an asset. They don't understand legally and structurally on accounts it's a liability. People don't know. How can you not know that in 2024? Why is school not telling you if you borrow money from a bank and you have an asset that does not generate income, it's a liability, not an asset? And technically, again, no one's been trained this, you look at the legal contracts of owning a house, people think they own a house, the bank owns that house. They actually are using your house to make money out of you and others. They use it as collateral. But if you read the legal contracts, which no one does, no one understands, that people sign on mortgages, they don't realise they don't own that house. They might do one day, once you pay 3 times more for that house, based on combination of inflation and interest rates and penalties and missed payments and threat of your house being taken off you and all the maintenance you've spent on that house over the next 30 years, then maybe you get to own it and die in it if you're lucky.
But then the government takes it back.
Well, then inheritance tax kicks in, and assuming you've got kids to leave it to, let's say 2, I've talked about this before, 45% will go to the government in inheritance tax unless you put it in a trust, which people don't understand to do, and the government doesn't want to educate you to do that, do they? So you don't put it in a trust. 45% goes to inheritance tax. If you've got 2 kids, the remaining money gets split between those 2 kids after tax, and those 2 kids now can afford a deposit on the house you've just sold and will spend the next 30 years paying off the mortgage. Welcome to slavery.
My take on fixing these things, after spending so much time with you, Simon, is to kind of just lead with action and lead with positivity.
Yep.
And I think it's really interesting. In fact, the term conspiracy theory is actually really interesting because it initially gets like a negative response from people because it's like, why would you believe that? That can't be true. So then people shun it off, normal people shun it off. But then the people that embrace it, then because it's a conspiracy theory and they have to really go against the grain, then they end up leading with negativity and saying, yes, I believe in this, and yes, this is the truth, but everything's broken, and if you don't do this, then life will get worse, and then it becomes like a very negative space. And to be honest, maybe that's better than just ignoring it and believing everything you're told. I don't know. But then that's a quite negative place to be. But I think spending time with you and kind of building things the way we're building it, leading with this positivity, acknowledging the problems that are there, and actually trying to make a change without being too negative about it, saying what the problems are, and then taking actual action to fix it, inspiring people, with whether it's with content or education or whatever. To me, I don't have all the answers, but I feel like that's how we make the first steps to actually fixing these problems. I mean, when we're in London and we see literally in a day tens of people, maybe in recent days up to like 100 people stopping you and saying the impact that you've had on them, how you've woken them up, and not in a way that scared them, in a way that's made them feel enlightened, I think that's massive. And if I could bottle that and give that to everyone in Western society, I would. And that's kind of how I think we can maybe not fix the problem, but start to fix these sort of problems.
I kind of want to come up with a saying for what you're talking about, like almost like the word I think of is like positive conspiracy.
Yeah.
You know, like working together to fix problems that, I mean, everyone knows that the system traps people. We probably could all acknowledge the education system's broken, but then nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's, I also like positive action on negative things. Like what can we do that's positive to fix the negative? As opposed to just moan about it or peddle the problem as a conspiracy theory to get views. You know, like that I think is actually counterintuitive because you can talk about we're living in the matrix. Great. So what? Now what? What do I do to get out of it? What's the hope? What's the plan? What's the strategy? You know, and if then your strategy is sell someone some shitty, you know, course, then I think you're part of the problem.
Exactly.
If you're not giving people the tools to actually escape the system for free and not being part of how the system operates, which is charge every human everything you can to make them a battery for the system, then you're just part of the same problem.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a new trodden path, I think, because say just looking at like influencers, business influencers even, you've got the ones who are doing something good, so then they're incentivized to be shiny, to be clean, and to go along with what the system says. So then they'll, you know, get on the TV shows, get the corporate sponsors, and then maybe they think some of these things, but then they can't really talk about it. So they just stay in that box. They stay in the clean box. And then you've got the people who do the opposite, and they then acknowledge the problems and talk about it, but then they shoot themselves in the foot with sponsors. They shoot themselves in the foot with connections in the mainstream media, and then they almost become their own silo of the people, the awake people who are fighting that battle. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that's a bad battle, but they're in their own box, kind of separated from the rest of society, kind of pioneering this avenue down the middle of that, where you're on TV and we're, you know, talking to the Prime Minister about how we can make things better, while also acknowledging the problems that were there and taking actions to fix them. That's the path I want us to coin, but it's very careful how we tread to walk that path without making enemies of either side.
I think the key to it, and we haven't got it right yet. I think we're still working on this because, you know, like when I'm talking about banks here, like I'm actually really grateful for Thai banking supporting us. And I actually think they've got a great product. If you want to start a business, I actually genuinely think it's really useful. Yeah. But equally, I think the banking system is completely corrupt and broken. and a lot of the time, especially credit score systems, trapping people. So there's that, you know, I don't want to not be honest about that because I don't want to upset our sponsor. But I think, you know, the infrastructure is required to help people follow their dream. You need a bank account. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Would I like it not to be that way? Yes. Would I like it if everyone just could open their business on a wallet, on blockchain? Yes. But that's not the way the world is structured right now. And I think that's quite important to keep in mind. That it's a bit, you know, I love the movie The Matrix so much because partly if you're in the Matrix, you have to work within the Matrix system, and just, it's like a game. You have to learn to push the rules, push the boundaries, push the system, learn how the game works. And then it becomes more fun if you see it that way, as opposed to the system traps you. If you just understand how the system works, and let's say how the financial system works, you can win. But you know, at some point, you have to just stand up for what you believe in. Though, like we did a post recently, as you guys know, I hate football. It's gone mental online about that because so many people just don't agree, and they love football. And my point ultimately is, you know, the Premier League is just a load of millionaires kicking a ball into a net. If that ball doesn't go in that net, what difference does it make? If it does go in that net, what difference does it make? If you spent all that money on the T-shirt, all that time on energy watching that, on building something for yourself, your life would literally change. It would. I don't know how many hours, let's say 4 or 5 hours a week people spend talking about football, watching football. They spent that time building something for themselves. They'd learn, they'd have some purpose, they'd enjoy it, they'd make money, which gives you freedom. So, you know, but I didn't post that to get a reaction. I posted it because I believe it. And a lot of people don't agree. And I think that's actually quite important too. So let's face it, we're probably not going to get a football team sponsoring us anytime soon. And we probably won't get a footballer necessarily supporting us anytime soon. But yeah, I think it's important to stand up for what you believe in and maybe accept. I don't see what's his name? Eddie Abu getting a hot dog company sponsoring him anytime soon, or McCain Chips sponsoring him anytime soon.
I think even Tesco, they've banned him.
Probably.
Going in there, he has to go into disguise.
So I mean, like, you know, if these supermarkets were smart, they would create a whole section of his food.
Yeah.
And lean into it.
Eddie Abu approved.
Yeah,
like,
Eddie Abu, exactly. And then that'll be
corner,
amazing. And that's the future, I think. Brands not locking people out that are appealing to people's natural instincts. Food is processed. Food that on the shelves today, in my opinion, it's a lot of crap. You know, it's so bad for you. It's cheap and there's huge profit margins in it. That's why these companies are doing it. They didn't sit in a room and say, let's poison humans. They sat in a room and said, how can we make the maximum amount of profit in the shortest amount of time from people with no money? I know. Let's give them processed shit.
With a long expiry date.
But people, the conspiracy theory, where people get conspiracy theories wrong, I think is someone sat there and said, let's poison humans. No. They don't want their customers to be dead. You know, ideally they want them to be alive.
Well, I think the people that bring up that argument are the ones that tie it into like the medical health industry, right? It's like they say that like they're all owned by the same people, and
Pfizer and Procter and Gamble.
Yeah. And they like poison the population on purpose so that they can give them loads of drugs.
There's some. I don't
like
think
diabetes is.
I think the way it works, you know, I think it's really quite simple. How these things work. Let's make a product that's cheap. Mm-hmm. That's the cheapest legal way to make that product without it being considered poison. Let's put it on the shelves with nice branding and good marketing and get the maximum amount of profit out of it. People buy it. McDonald's is probably a prime example of this, right? Mm-hmm. People then buy it. People get semi-addicted to it because they put something in it that's semi-addicted, MSG or whatever it is. And then people get sick and they go, oh, that's another industry now. There's no preemptive care in the UK, right? It's all about... Why is the intern coughing when we're trying to... Can we fire an intern without pay? I don't know. It's not the conspiracy. You've totally put my brilliant point. He's probably getting sick right in front of us.
Too much McDonald's.
But I think that then people go, oh, you know, the NHS system everyone talks about as being broken, but it is the only system in the UK really where people with no money can go to get help. But the irony is the NHS is actually a big business. And the whole procurement of drugs inside the NHS is huge money for people like Pfizer. So why would Pfizer promote preemptive care when they make so much money from people getting sick and taking their medicine? was this whole thing where people could take one, a particular thing, I won't mention it in case we get sued, but they basically could take something that would completely get rid of them being sick with a certain thing. But they don't give it to them in one pill, they give it to them in 50. Because then it's an ongoing refillable medicine, right? So they don't, it's a bit like a light bulb. Actually, there's light bulbs now that would never break. But then where's the reoccurring income that everyone wants?
Well, it's the same with Henry Ford, or maybe not Henry Ford, I don't know.
Tesla made electricity that was free, and that's the conspiracy theory. I also like that one. Tesla made electricity that was free, and they killed him for it. Because you think about the size of the business where you can charge people for electricity. It's $1 trillion business, and everyone's got to have electricity now because you can't work your phone. You can't go back to not having electricity, can we? You know, the lights are on at your home. It runs your generating system. It runs everything. You can't live without power now. So they invented something that we're now completely addicted to. The whole infrastructure is based on it, and there's only one company that supplies the power. So pay that bill or freeze. That's how it is now.
Or go fully off grid.
You can go fully off grid, but then you're considered a weirdo, right?
Yeah.
And you know, if going fully off grid these days, well, I mean, you think about like tap pay. You go fully off grid, you don't have a phone that's charged. Most shops you can't pay anymore. No one takes cash. You go to the till at Tesco's, try to give it cash. The thing will kind of like, we do not accept cash. Please insert card. Do you have a membership? You know,
yeah, you must
don't
scan your club
membership.
card as
No,
well,
and, you know,
to get like stuff at what used to be the normal price.
Do you know every time I go to Marks and Spencer's and buy something, they're always like, have you got a club card? Have you got a club card? Have you got a club card? Everything's asking me that all the time. And I'm just like, for some reason, I just enjoy saying no. And they look at you like you're mad. You don't want 10p off? No, because I know what you're doing with my data.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with your bullshit. Analysing my basket,
what they
figuring
do
out
with
what
all
other
of that,
shit
though.
you can sell me.
Why does Tesco want to know that I buy a bottle of water?
Well, because then they basically
market
market to you and manipulate accordingly, right? It's just, I mean, I've been doing marketing for 30 years, so I've seen how marketing works. I actually love marketing. If you look at it as a positive thing, it can give people knowledge and give people information. But it's been used to make you think breakfast is an important meal in the day. We all know breakfast is not an important meal in the day for you. For most people, normally in the past, we would get up and not have breakfast. We would not have a fridge. We'd get up and we'd have to go out and hunt. That's why, actually, I mean, statistically, I think 8 a.m. is when you're least hungry. But you've probably gone to sleep for 10, 12 hours. Why is 8 a.m. the time when you're least hungry? Because our bodies aren't meant to wake up and eat. It makes us sluggish to go out and hunt, right? It's like you're meant to get up, go hunt, go do things, and bring the food back, cook it, then eat it. So theoretically, you should eat around 5 o'clock because that's how long it takes to catch a deer, get home, clean it, cook it, prepare it, eat it, right? That's what we used to do. We didn't have jobs, right? We had roles.
Do you think any part of the human cell has evolved slightly to more 3 meals a day? Because your body can expand. And
if you look at the size of people, people have evolved to eating 3 meals a day,
I don't know if that's evolution or more just you train your body within your lifetime.
Do people ask themselves if they're actually hungry? By the way, I've got this problem. I wake up and I'm older than you guys. I wake up and I'm not hungry, but my brain habit says have some breakfast, right?
Eat some toast.
Whatever, eat toast. Yeah, something carby, something sugary, anything for later. Yeah. Right, store it for later. Because of course, if you go back to that time, if you woke up and you know you've got an all-day hunting exercise, your body does say store some fat just in case when you're out today you don't actually get any food. So you need to store some fat. You need to store stuff because if you go out and there's no deers today, and you come home with no food, you might not eat tonight. We're not guaranteed. Because we don't have a fridge, we don't have a freezer, so there's no guarantee you're going to eat today. So if there's something downstairs or in the back cupboard or around the corner that you could eat, your brain says eat it. You don't need it, but your brain says eat it because it's survival.
You should try fasting. I wonder if you could reset your brain. No, like proper, like a long fast though, right? Not like intermittent, like a...
I think it's habit. You know, like I wake up, Aiden wants breakfast. I make Aiden breakfast. I make him some toast. It smells good. My brain goes, eat it.
But if you committed yourself to a fast, I wonder if you could like snap your brain out.
If I don't eat breakfast and I don't eat lunch and I'm not too tired, like today I actually got tired, I genuinely can get to 5 or 6 o'clock and feel good. I'm not even hungry. I could probably go all night, and the next day I probably easily could. But part of me also says, don't get sick. You know, your brain again just kind of talks you into it, right? And it's not my body saying it's hungry. It's my brain.
So you're not feeling physically hungry.
No,
you're more just want to absorb.
But the longer I don't eat, the less I feel hungry because insulin's not kicking in, right?
Do you think if it was more complicated than just toast in the toaster, butter on the toast?
Yeah, it should be more complicated.
If you had to make the bread from scratch?
Yeah, much better.
Don't buy bread.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, I've got a kid, so it's hard to not have these things in the house. But like what I used to personally do when I was younger is just not have it there. Yeah? Then it's an effort to go and get it. So it's like, just won't bother getting it.
Maybe have a specific cupboard for Aiden so that when you go in that cupboard, your brain isn't like wired to eat.
I think,
you know, or something like that. Like keep your food.
But if you're a drug addict, you go and find drugs, right? I think I can only talk about myself.
You're a toast addict.
It's not just toast. I mean, toast is carbs, right?
Bread.
Toast is carbs.
Yeah.
What are you addicted? Lately, I've watched you binge on things.
Yeah.
So what's happening there?
Well, me?
Yeah.
Refreshers.
Yeah.
I never saw a guy eat so many refreshers in a sit down.
So
during the Yatsu podcast,
yeah, I'm having a very
everyone's
serious
staring
podcast.
at Callum. He's like, I need the sweet.
I'm literally having, for those that don't, maybe some haven't seen, I'm having a podcast with a billionaire who's sharing wisdom that will change the world, and he's eating these little refresher sweets in the background.
The mics wouldn't have picked it up.
He thinks, it's not coming through on the mic, but I can fucking hear it.
Oh,
but why are you addicted to? Why? Because you know, how does that work? Why are you just eating all those things when you know they're bad for you?
Yeah.
You know you don't need them for nutrition.
Yeah.
So why are you eating them?
Because they're in a nice little jar on the side and they're there. I tell you what, I'm actually quite disciplined because if I'm in a supermarket, I do not buy this shit. So, like, because I don't want to take it home. If it's in my house and in my cupboards, I'll eat it and I can't fucking help myself. So it's like...
that thing you're talking about there, why is it like that? Because it's in my house, so how do I stop myself?
It's already in your house, so you've taken it on your territory. It's like, I don't know, I feel like, for me in my brain, if I take stuff into my space... then it's like, I've got to eat it now. It's not as it would feel wrong to like chuck it in the bin or something. Do you know what I mean? So just don't take it from the supermarket. It's like you go out and you hunt for the sugar. Don't hunt for the sugar. You know, just have the, you know, single ingredient food.
When I was younger, I dated a girl for a while. Then we broke up. I just stopped. I just got so fit. Sometimes it's like
Helen, that's true. You're too comfortable, maybe. Like I feel like
Helen brings me a cake because she loves me, and she's like, "I bought you a cake," and I just want to put it in the bin, right? But I don't because one, I'm being polite to her, and two, I'm like, my brain says, "I'll just have it. It's there now."
But you could have it. I feel like
maybe there's definitely a balance to be had.
Like imagine your life where you just didn't have Helen.
By the way, this
and you
podcast
didn't have
has
that
become
validation.
about how fat I am. I feel like we should move on. We're talking
what
more
do you
about
guys
conspiracy
think?
theories.
Let us know in the comments down below.
Is Simon fat?
Do you know we should get 270 trainers in one place and get them all to train me at once? could it, if 270 trainers train you in one day, is that like 270 days?
I tell you what, that could be an interesting like clip. Like imagine like every 10 seconds we're gonna add 50 more trainers. Or something like that. Air racks video. You could do like photographers.
A London Marathon type thing, and every trainer every meter, and they're giving you some nutrition advice on the way, and every meter, and it's like, will I get to the end? And the last guy at the end, it's like, I've got no more knowledge to share. Everyone's taught you everything.
I just imagine Simon walking around his house, and wherever he walks or anything he looks at, there's a PT stood there like, I wouldn't eat that, mate. he sits down, and they're like, 10 push-ups, mate.
Yeah.
But getting into good habits is basically it. I'm in the good space at the moment. I am like just about controlling my mind. That's what it is.
I think that's the key to pretty much everything, in my opinion. Bringing it back to conspiracy theories, acknowledging all the problems we've just mentioned, whether it's for control or for money, there's things set up that make us humans weak. If you live in pretty much any country, definitely every Western country, you have everything you need to be fit, be healthy, be happy, be rich. Like, we currently do have all the tools to do that. And so it's less about getting rid of the problems in the world. It's more about teaching each individual to control their mind, maybe understand the problems to avoid them. So then they know what to eat. They know what to do to be fit, and they know what actions to take to have freedom, to be successful, whatever it is. And again, just bringing it back to our mission, although, yes, the education system is broken, yes, people get into debt by going to uni, and yes, most jobs trap people, with the right education and self-discipline, if you live in the UK, and again, most countries, you can, within the space of 2 years, become financially free or find your purpose in a business or any of these things. It's more than possible.
I think you just have to, first of all, accept that you are being manipulated all day long. Someone's trying to sell you something and advertise something to you, and you just have to learn to be discerning and aware of it and educate yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, the education system's broken, but in part because even me, I've just taken my kid out of school. We're now homeschooling. But I was taking my kid to school and handing over his education to someone else. Well, why? Why is that the answer? Well, I'm blaming the school system because it's awful, but actually it's me as a parent. I'm not taking control of my kid's education. And I think the same on YouTube, on HelpBnk, everything you need is there for free. You know, everything you want to learn, whether it's something, you know, like crypto or how Web3 works or how marketing works or how any of it works, it's there free on the internet, right? And people don't take the time to watch it, or they're not disciplined to go and watch it, or they don't have a clear purpose, so they don't go and watch it. Their purpose is to play Fortnite, or their purpose is to watch that crap series on Netflix. Their purpose is to just pay the bills and go on some shit holiday for 2 weeks a year. You know, like...
Maybe they're not believing themselves enough to see the end of what all that learning could end up doing.
Well, I don't think people give themselves a clear purpose. That's what it is. People have been brain fogged a little bit into like, purpose is to own a car, purpose is to own a house. If people listening to this, if I say, what's your purpose, and you say owning a house, well, the system's fucking got you, hasn't it? Brilliant. If your dream is to own a car, that's your main dream. I'm not saying getting a nice car isn't a bad idea, but like, that can't be your dream.
Can't be your main dream.
But that is
it could
for
be like
a lot
a side
of people.
thing, right?
That is, think how many people we've asked that question to, and people say, I want money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the top 5 answers. Number 1 is, I want money. I want a nice car. I want a nice house. You know, like these things that are just not really going to bring happiness. You know, how many millionaires have we interviewed that say, I sat in my big house and I was lonely? You know, like...
Where does that programming come from? Like, specifically?
Parents.
Yeah.
Parents will tell you going to university is good still. Parents will tell you, get a house like we did when we were young. Get on the ladder. You know, so bad education, furthering bad education. I do think the school system is very designed to make you work in a factory.
But does the school system like teach you to like aspire to own a home? Like,
I think it teaches you...
Not aspire to own a home, but get a mortgage, you know? Like,
I think it teaches you to get a job and that it's the less risky way to live. And if you get a job... you have a regular salary, so therefore the monthly mortgage becomes the only viable way to get some sort of financial benefit in the future, right? Because people aren't really thinking necessarily, a lot of people aren't thinking about now get rich. In fairness, a lot of people do have delayed gratification, which is a very important part of getting rich, but they're investing in the wrong thing for the delayed gratification. They're investing in a mortgage for 30 years, and by the time they've actually made money from their house, they're 65, and you know they're scared to then sell it because they've got nowhere to live, or they have to sell it to go live in a home, or they die in it, and it, as we discussed earlier, gets sucked up by the system.
Okay, Simon, so what's step 1? If someone is listening to this, they feel lost, they feel stuck, but they have that glimmer of hope in their brain that life can be something more. What's step 1?
I think it's ask yourself, what is your purpose? You know, not again, I've said this before, so hopefully, you know, in future podcasts I'll say original content, but you know, it's not really about what will you do when you grow up. It's about what problem can you solve? And that's what people need to ask themselves. And again, if they don't know what problem they want to solve, then they go work with people that are solving problems. Because actually, and I feel like this is true for this whole team, my original purpose of fix the education system and help people break free from the trap they're in for free wasn't necessarily your purpose, but I feel like it is now. And it's an important thing to do. Now, maybe later on, you'll have another purpose once we've completed this mission, right?
Probably, yeah.
But I feel like, you know, it's a healthy way to do it. Like, first of all, get equity where you work. Second is ask what the purpose of the business is before you work there. Make sure you can get behind that purpose, and then it won't feel like work so much, especially if you own a part of it and it has strong purpose. I think that's it. I think don't work somewhere where you don't have purpose. if you can get a job to pay you to cover your bills while you work on your purpose, brilliant. Or work part-time somewhere. Maybe this is where we end the podcast, because James here, our intern, has committed to working here with us. He's not thinking about money. He's trying to figure out his purpose. He's trying to get more knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that is exactly the way to do it.
So should people do that first, find their purpose? Or would it make more sense for someone to find a way that they could make money to then have a little bit of freedom to then find their purpose?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the making money pursuit can lead to a trap in itself. So you can start a business, let's say it's Amazon FBA, which I think is quite interesting. But if you're not careful, that's what you end up doing for the rest of your life. So I think it's better off, get your costs down. If I was being practical about it, I'd say get your costs down. Get your costs down. Don't get a car loan. Don't get a mortgage. Live frugal, right? Just when you're young, you can do that. I slept on my friend's couch in Hong Kong, right? It wasn't particularly comfortable. It wasn't particularly easy, but I did it. And from that no rent situation, I was able to start a company. That company then made lots of money, and I was able to build another company and another company. And it's because I wasn't trying to get a big fancy apartment in Hong Kong and show off. I didn't care. And in fact, I was quite proud that I slept on a couch. It was like, people ask me, where do you live? My mate's flat, I sleep on his couch. I'm like, okay, cool, what are you doing? What I'm doing is more important, not where I live.
Why didn't you care? How did you escape that?
Because I come from nothing. The fact I was even in Hong Kong is a treat. I'm in fucking Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And actually at that point, I had a bit of money in my pocket that I was able to start a business, right? So I'm excited about building that thing. I'm not excited about the thing that I own. I'm excited about the thing that I'm building. And I think that's why I say to people all the time that having nothing is such a competitive advantage if you leverage it right. Because once you've got nothing and you can still be happy, you realize that actually happiness doesn't come from owning a thing. Most people I meet that are unhappy own lots of things. They trap those. Those things are all trappings. They've got a house they've got to pay. They can't leave. They've got to live there. That's their mortgage. They've got a car payment. They can't leave. They've got all these things that just lock them in. Which is why I love rent. Because it actually is quite freeing. When you're not having to manage any of the property. That's someone else's problem. And you can just move and go where the opportunity is.
I just want to keep it at step one though for a second. So someone wants to find their purpose, and they're really passionate about dogs. So their purpose becomes saving dogs or something like that, right? If their purpose is to do with that, is the advice to them then try and build a profitable business around that can free you?
I think so. I mean, okay, let's take that analogy. I'd probably start with, I had no money. I'd probably find a way to live in somewhere like Hampstead, North London, and I would see people walking their dogs, and I'd say, I'm a dog walking service, and I can walk your dog. You're probably very busy. You're rich. You're in this area. You've probably got a job. I'll walk your dog when you don't need it. Here's my card. And then you start walking people's dogs, start making relationships with the owners, and then you can build another dog business on top of it, whether it's grooming, whether it's mental health care, whatever it is, but you can start by building a cash flow business around purpose. Now, of course, you could also, and I say this carefully because I think they're a sponsor, you could build an Amazon FBA model, that's fine, but ideally, you'd want to sell something on Amazon FBA that relates to your purpose. So there's guys that were selling toothbrushes, right? Like the cost of a toothbrush, gum disease on the rise, dental costs, NHS dental system broken. They started that business because they cared about the problem they were solving. And then they used Amazon FBA to do it, right? I think using the tools out there to generate cash flow to eventually fund your dream. Like my first business is a gardening company. What's that got to do with freeing humanity? Right? It's nothing. First step, and maybe I wasted, you guys are far more advanced than me because in many ways I wasted 10 years figuring this out that I'm telling you. What I'm telling you now took me maybe 10 years to figure out, right? So by the time I realized I need to link my purpose to what I learn, right? So my purpose is to help people for free learn business. Well, I need to first of all learn business to do that, don't I? So then making sure I've got a business, gardening company does fit that criteria, but later I realized how powerful marketing is and branding, right? So that's why those guys win at selling people shit they don't need, because they do good marketing and good branding. The best product doesn't win. The best marketed product wins. So it's a journey for me. Build a marketing company, make money out of it. Build an investment company, make money out of it.
This wasn't always your purpose your whole life, though, was it?
I think if I look back, when I was 15, no, my purpose is to survive, right? Just pay the bills. And then at 23, 24, when I finally got a little bit of stability, at that point I did think, I really wish I could help that 15-year-old me, but I couldn't really justify the time to do it. So then I spent the next 10 years, building Fluid and getting industry respect, I guess, for building that company and then selling that company when I'm 40. At that point I'm burnt out, right? So I take a few years off. And in that time I then reflect about the whole journey and think, actually my purpose is clearly to help people start businesses. Fluid was about helping people start businesses, but I was being paid to help, right? Nest was about helping people start businesses, but I took equity in the company. So it's just an evolution for me.
I think the point that's really interesting after finding your purpose that you said is build a cash flow business around your purpose. Because this is just an assumption, but I reckon a lot of people, when they think of purpose, they then think, oh, well, what's that got to do with money? Or it might be really hard to make money at my purpose, and people know they need money to be free. But
it's like a philanthropic thing.
Yeah. So I think that point of find your purpose or something purposeful and then build a cash flow business around it, I think is a really good point. And it actually made me reflect, like thinking back to why I started my first business, marketing agency, or just becoming a freelance marketer, really. It actually wasn't from the search of, okay, what's a business model that could make me money? Although I did do that for a little bit, and I'd spend an hour looking into each business model and then realize that either it's harder than it looks or I'm not interested. When I actually started my business, it came from what do I enjoy and I'm kind of good at, helping people succeed even in micro ways and giving that sort of advice to take something to the next level, no matter what it was. And I had basically no skill, but I could feel the enjoyment that I had when I helped someone with something.
That's huge, by the way. Enjoying it is so underrated.
Yeah. And it fired me up. And I was kind of that guy with my friends as well.
You will always beat everybody, even your competition, doing exactly the same thing if you enjoy it more than them.
Exactly.
Why?
Because the enthusiasm for doing it is just so... That's kind of my little bit of a worry with you doing YouTube videos. Like sometimes I feel like you moan about it, you don't enjoy it, and it makes it hard. So you can either think about the purpose and get excited about it. It's really hard though, or you do something else.
But also, I feel like to get to the place where you want to be, you have to go through the pain of building those initial skills.
That's a really difficult thing to figure out. Is it I don't enjoy it and I shouldn't be doing it, or is it I don't enjoy it because I haven't had success at it yet?
Oh, yeah, it's the second one.
Yeah. So that's...
Yeah, I'm still learning the YouTube game.
By the way, though, if that is the truth, then we've got 350,000 subscribers on a YouTube page you've been working on. What's not successful about that? I mean, we are one of the top 20 business cards YouTube channels in the world. Business YouTube channels in the world. Top 20. You're not happy, huh?
Want it to be sustainable. That's the only thing.
Alone,
standalone, YouTube channel, standalone, sustainable.
Again, this is probably another podcast for another time, but sustainability for me is like I enjoy doing it, and every week we put up a video. Consistency and enthusiasm is sustainable.
We've got to refine the format and the formula.
Well, anyway,
but once we've done that, I guess we're
just highlighting this as a real life case study. It's very easy to say enjoy it. There is actually a slight misunderstanding about enjoy it. There's a nuance to enjoy it. Like I haven't enjoyed every single day of building HelpBnk. No. I've had some really stressful moments where I feel like we're not helping enough people. I'm letting someone down that DM'd me and I couldn't get back to them because I got too many DMs. And, I feel like a lot of the time I feel pretty shit, to be honest. Like I'm somehow not doing a good enough job. I mean, just before this podcast, I was just reading a comment from someone and literally the comment was, you bought a staircase and all you did was put a stupid doorbell at the bottom of it. It actually upset me. I'm like, we're trying to, where people can go pitch there for free. We edit the video, we put it up online for free for people so that their dream comes alive. Sorry, it's not enough for you, mate.
What'd they say to that?
Well, I haven't read the reply since I put up that comment. But part of me thinks, they don't understand what we're doing. It's okay, what's the problem? But I was literally upset. So am I enjoying that moment? No.
But I think the question though to ask, what are they doing?
Well, yeah, but I don't want to make it. I did actually say that. Yeah. I shouldn't have said that. I did actually say that. I said, what are you doing to help people?
Someone's saying something negative. What are they doing? I feel like a lot of people love to say
you don't want to respond with negativity.
Well, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. People who are doing more than you will never slag you off. They'll never bitch in the comments. They're doing more than you. They don't do it. People don't. Only those doing a lot less than you do that.
They don't have time.
Because it's kind of a reflection of themselves. Yeah. It's like all you've done is buy a staircase and put a doorbell on the bottom of it and help people with their dreams. That's all you've done, mate. Okay, I can do more. And he's right. He's right. I feel like naming them now. He's probably right. You know, I can do more. We will do more. But it's a good start.
We're getting there. We're building.
Yeah,
right?
but I do want to say, but what are you doing? You know?
Yeah, but I think, no, you don't have to ask them that. You can just think to yourself, like, if you've ever got a moment where someone's saying... I wish they would
ask themselves that. I wish other people ask themselves that. No, I don't want to have to ask them that.
You can remind yourself that these people are doing nothing. They're just there to comment. If they've got time to comment on anything... I've never commented on anyone's Instagram post
my
ever,
guess on that person commenting, if I put myself in their shoes, what they're actually saying is, I need more help. They're saying, I'm not living in England. The doorbell's too far away from me. I need help. That's actually what they're saying. But they're not saying it that way. They're a bit like... They're bitching because they're not getting the help they want, or it's not framed in a way that helps them. This is the interesting thing about help. People ask for help all the time. What they make a mistake doing is they don't actually frame what help means. So people in a comment will help me. And I have to reply with, sure, how? I need money. Sure, why? I want to buy stuff to start my business. Sure, what? I want to buy this product to make my business work. Sure, why that product? Silence. Don't know why. Just want to make money. Back again to the beginning. Help me. Why? You know, like people aren't clear what they actually need, and that would. People think they need a mentor. I've said again, this is the thing in my head lately. People don't need a fucking mentor. They do not need a mentor. People need to know what question to ask to get what they need from the people that actually have the answers.
So if someone's finding the why, they found the purpose, and now they know they need to build a cash flow business around that purpose. Is purpose enough, or how important do you think it is to also then have a bigger goal, like know where you're going type thing?
You need to set goals.
I never in a million years, 4 years ago when I started doing TikTok and other social media stuff, thought one day I'll have a competitor to LinkedIn. And that platform will help people and hundreds of thousands of people will sign up using it. Of course not.
Step by step.
Sometimes you just start with a general premise. And I think every successful business, there's no way Mark Zuckerberg sat down and said, one day I'm going to effect an election. Right? He never said that. He sat down and he said, I'm not that popular. I'm going to build something where I'm a gatekeeper and create like a little social status update platform so I know if girls are single or not. And then he tried it for fun because he enjoyed it, ironically. And then slowly he's built up a purpose. I want to connect people. Lovely. I think he's engineered that and I get it. But in reality, it was him trying to just to prove that being a geek was quite a powerful thing and that geeks should be respected. And that's what happened, right? He built something everyone used and then he got respect. And he's the person with the most amount of friends online in the whole world, probably with the least amount of friends in the real world. Probably. Real friends, I would argue. But I think, that sometimes it's a step-by-step process. I think that's why I say if you have a general purpose, let's say, in our case, free humanity, and then you try things, and some of them will fail, some of them won't, that you enjoy doing, and that's it. Eventually, it will scale into something. In fact, the danger is it can scale too big. That's actually what I think. I think that's a lot of people that go online, they want to become personal brands. They then burn out and they quit YouTube, right? That's a big phenomenon at the moment. A lot of YouTubers just quitting. Because why did they start the YouTube channel? They don't actually know why they started it. They just started it because they could do it.
Ego or something.
And they didn't have a purpose, so they get stuck. I think, without naming names, I see a very big influencer in the UK that has built up a massive social media following with a massive backlash at the moment because slowly but surely everything he does is just about putting money in his own pocket and making him more famous. And that is dangerous because actually people kind of go, well, at some point they're like, why do you keep just pushing stuff to make money out of us? There's no purpose, and that's not good for that person, and that's not good for the world. And I think that's why, in my opinion, everyone should start something with a reason for starting it, not to just get famous, not to just make money. That will end in misery because you'll never have enough money, and frankly, you probably never have enough fame.
Oh yeah, it's insatiable. There's always more people, you know.
Find your purpose, cash flow business around it. Know your direction, but not necessarily your end goal. What else? Is there anything really important we're missing from that kind of?
I think
stage
ecosystem is important. Who's around you? Who, like if you go to Silicon Valley, and I've been there many, many times, you just feel like if you say you're not starting your own business, you're just not part of the ecosystem. If you go there and say, yeah, I'm really hoping to get a job at a bank, like people. But if you go to Harvard and you say, my hope is to be, the top lawyer at a bank, they're like, oh, cool, yeah, cool, man, yeah, be a lawyer at a bank. Yeah, there's so much money in being a lawyer at a bank, isn't there? Yeah, big money. Yeah, you could buy yourself a nice house in the Hamptons later. That'd be cool. Like whoever's around you, it really affects you. So I think that's why you've got to be careful with advice from your parents. They fucking love you, no doubt about it. I love my kid. But are the parents the right people to give you advice necessarily? Unless you want their life, maybe look at their life. They will, even if they advise you to go to university because they didn't, you'll probably still end up with their life.
How do you find the right people to surround yourself with? Like, how do you identify when they're the right person?
How about I spin it back onto you? Instead of me answering these questions, how do you make sure that happens? And do you think I'm right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I guess... So I remember one day, before I started with HelpBnk or anything like that, I was basically running my own podcast. And I remember sitting there thinking, I really wish I had a friend that I could go on like this self-development journey with me, because I was really into self-development at the time. And the other thing I said was, I really wish I had someone guiding me, like a mentor, to like answer the questions that I don't know the answers to. And then like literally like a month later, I met you two and had you both on the podcast and got connected with you both. I don't know.
That's the clever thing about a podcast, by the way. You can invite people on and make connections. Yeah. It's much better than, hey, can you please be my mentor? Yeah. If you just message me and said, I don't have time to be everyone's mentor, but come on your podcast and help you and your community, for sure I'm there, Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, though, yeah.
It's like
created your ecosystem.
It's kind of like, I guess the point I was trying to make was like, it's kind of like manifestation. It's like you buy a new car, suddenly you see that new car everywhere in the world. Does everyone suddenly have that new car? No, it's just your brain is like switched onto it. So I think it's like, if you like, I guess like try and picture like the type of person that you'd want around you, then you'd start to realize when they come into your life, and then you can take action on it and like be friends with Jack, or like, figure out how I can be of like value to you so that I can spend more time around you, learn more from you, and then somehow start the company with you. Well, join the company with you.
I kind of feel like once you get onto a certain frequency, you kind of actually attract people on a similar frequency. Yeah. And that sounds
like... It's a very woo-woo thing to say.
That's so
sounds
true.
Really woo-woo.
Like when I meet people who are not purpose-driven, I literally can't hang out with them. So I can't... If someone... And I was living in Hampstead. Did I mention that Ricky Gervais was my neighbour?
Shut up.
Really?
But when I was living there, one of the reasons... I like living there, but one of the things I didn't like is that everybody generally I would speak to there would be in finance. And I just felt like, so do you enjoy that? Not really. It's got me this big house in Hampstead. I'm like, I just can't hang out with people like that. I just can't. Because I end up pissing them off. Because I end up basically saying, what you're doing has no purpose. You just, derivatives? The fuck's that? So you try to rip off poor countries and make, okay, got it. You try to buy it cheap and sell it high. Fucking hell, I'm bored sitting talking to you. I just can't hang out with those people. But you end up like, it's dangerous for people because you think someone's rich, you should hang out with them. That's not a definition of someone you should hang out with. Just because they're rich doesn't mean they're happy. And it's definitely an interesting thing.
Well, I think we meet so many people in our life that it's natural then if you get on a certain wavelength, certain frequency, and then you start meeting people like that, they're going to stick. Like, I move into my building now, there's loads of people there. I mean, it kind of helps that most people are old, so it's like very old, so it's quite different. But then the one or two people who are like into the type of loose scene that I'm into, naturally you meet them once in the sauna, they're the people you're then going to carry on speaking to, rather than people.
You've got a friend who's into meme coins and crypto, right? Yeah. And I've met him too. He's a nice guy. I think, and even I think a bit more about meme coins and stuff because of him. But I also think you have got to be careful that you don't get sidetracked by that stuff.
Of course, but I think knowing yourself and knowing who you want to attract, what you want to attract, getting on that frequency, and then probably becoming the type of person that is open to meeting more people.
I also think open to things that don't naturally fit. So actually, if I'm catching myself a little bit, like I don't like meme coins. I think it's gambling, but I can also see how a lot of people that had nothing have made some money out of it, and that makes me happy. I think being open to people that aren't naturally a fit is pretty interesting because, without, I don't know if this will make it into the podcast now because I don't want to offend him.
No, leave it.
But your friend who lives in the same building as you that's into the meme coins, what I sense from him is that he is ready for something really purposeful. Mm-hmm. And he's managed to get himself in a financial position where he could actually do something really purposeful. So then it's a question of who influences who. So I feel a little bit influenced. I've only met him twice, but I feel a little bit influenced by him on meme coins sound interesting. How did you launch it? What was involved? How much money do you make from it? It's fascinating. Does it mean I want to launch a meme coin? No. Does it mean I'm going to buy meme coins? No. But I like learning and I like not being ignorant. And equally, I think there's been a chance where we're like, well, what's your purpose, man? What are you trying to achieve? And maybe we can influence him and help him. I think he's in search of his next thing. Do something purposeful with his next thing. And if he's hanging out with people that are just making money in crypto, maybe he won't do something purposeful next. He'll just keep making money in crypto, which, to some people listening might not be such a bad thing. But to me, it's like a waste of a life.
Well, this is exactly what happened, right? And again, it's really interesting, similar to Callum. So last year, I said, this year I want to learn a bit more about crypto because I can see that it's the future of the world and also our company. So then I move somewhere, I meet someone who has made money in it, and then by not really investing any money myself, just like playing along with it, seeing what he does, and he actually gave me a bit of money to put in a meme coin just so I could watch it.
Have you made any money from the meme coins?
Yeah, a little bit, but not. It's up, down, up, down. But the point was, by just watching that and talking to him, and instead of having to go searching for it on YouTube, I fast-tracked my learning
from real people.
About the ecosystem. And now I understand a semi-decent amount about how the crypto ecosystem works as a whole, what smart contracts are, how you launch things and all that. At the exact same time, he had less motivation last year, he told me. And so me moving to the building gave him more motivation to work harder. He said that. And he's said to me, I need a purpose. Like, how do I find my purpose? And then he's asking me those questions. So
it's brilliant. That's waking up a human there.
Exactly. So although you're not necessarily trying to attract people that are the same as you, but people with some similar frequencies that you can then share that knowledge and experience to become a more well-rounded person, I think is really interesting. Being open to those type of people is really interesting.
I have not shared this before publicly because I don't want to encourage it, but a few years ago I bought quite a lot of crypto, but I did it to learn. I didn't do it to make money, and I have made money. I still think it's people got to be very careful. I would never promote it as a core thing for people to do, but I'm glad originally I lost quite a lot of money in it, and I didn't mind.
How much?
Probably 200,000+ pounds. No, I'm
just playing the game,
back
just
now.
Casual, just
yeah. I mean,
G's.
yeah. When I lost 200,000 pounds, don't get me wrong, I wasn't happy about it, but I didn't think, oh crap, I've lost all this money, because I didn't put all I've got into it. First of all, second, I looked at it as education. Like, I got to understand, why do these things go up and down? Why does it have value? How do you get access? What happens when you have access? How does staking work? How does the ecosystem work? Who are the players? Why are they in it? What's the motivation for people to get involved in the future of it? What will future companies look like because of it? And all of that because I lost 200,000 pounds. Now, luckily, today I've made a lot more, but I've made all of that back and some.
How much more?
Probably not healthy to talk about because I don't want the headline to be Simon Squibb made millions out of crypto. That's not
over
who I am.
1 million.
No. Okay. But what I'm getting to is, like, I think with a lot of these things, like, ignorance is not bliss. And sure, when you're manifesting the people you want around you, I think that's key. But equally, sometimes someone will come into your life that isn't naturally part of your manifestation cycle. I kind of think you should also embrace it. Like Gary Vee, I think it was Gary Vee, said, get rid of everybody who's negative in your life. Get rid of them. Kind of think that's not that healthy, actually. You kind of need some people that are different from you. Because maybe you can fix
negative people. You can have, like, people that are different from you and, like, divergent thinking from positive people. What, do you need negative people?
Well, a negative person is someone you can help, isn't it? You know, if you're positive
so,
and they're
yeah.
negative, does that make you negative or does it make them positive?
A bit of both.
And maybe you could argue if they forever make you negative, then yeah, move on. Like, I don't speak to my mother because she genuinely, you know, lots of reasons, but she makes me feel quite negative. So, but I certainly spent a long time trying to make that relationship work. So of course there's always going to be a cut-off. But I kind of think it's important not to surround yourself with people that are all the same as you. You know, like if you just surround yourself with purposeful people, I would actually say that's ironically, I'm going to counter argument. Silicon Valley's biggest problem is it's all about starting a startup. That's all it is.
What does it need?
I think it needs diversity. It needs...
In what sense? What would be the perfect person to just throw into Silicon Valley to...
An English person, because no British company has ever succeeded in building a tech company. Name me one successful British tech company that's competing with LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. HelpBnk in the future, but honestly, the system here is not supportive of us.
Yeah.
In America, there's grants and infrastructure to really help make a tech product scale. In England, it's literally like people want you to fail. They don't want it to work.
Is Coinbase English? I thought the founder is...
Yeah.
It's not British-based, for sure.
He's a British guy, though, isn't he? Pretty sure he's British.
Yeah, I highly doubt they're British-based.
But that's kind of sad. I mean, we're a nation of 64 million people. We're supposed to be advanced, smart. We're part of the financial system. We're one of the top 3 financial districts in the world. What the fuck? Why don't we have one of these big companies here, based here, created here, grew here? I mean, even like, we're about slagging off other countries, but a lot of small countries, you know, Skype, and I think Skype's from Croatia, is it? Or no, one of their...
I'm not sure.
Yeah, the WhatsApp guys are like Eastern Europe somewhere as well, right? Like
these things,
something like
I can't think of one company that's come from England like that. Every company I can think of, Oracle, Salesforce, Slack, everything that's successful at scale like that is not from UK. Not one. I can't think of one. You could argue local banks. HSBC, someone quoted to me the other day, HSBC is a very successful British bank that's gone global. I'm like, it stands for Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank. Idiot. It's a Hong Kong bank. No, it's British. No, it's the Hong Kong and Shanghai Commercial Bank. Hong Kong and Shanghai is the key. Where do you think it's from? England.
Aston Martin?
It's failing, by the way, that brand. It doesn't have scale. That has to be bought by another company. They're not thinking...
It was bought. It was bought by the guy that runs the F1 team now.
Stroll.
Recently.
Yeah. Lawrence Stroll, yeah.
Couple of years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago. Yeah.
But anyway, that was recently public IPO.
And he's
and
American.
flopped.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know why. I mean, I kind of look at it like even with HelpBnk, we cannot do all the things that we want to do in the UK. It's the infrastructure. The existing banking system and the existing infrastructure tries to squash anybody that can make the world a better place in that space. So they're protecting what they've got.
I feel like we're outgrowing the UK in the next 1 to 3 years.
So but it shouldn't be that way. Someone on my Telegram group today messaged me and said, they've got a project that they think can help millions of people out of poverty. And they're British. And they're like, sadly, I know I cannot launch this in Britain. And I need to go to another country. And it upsets me because I'm British and I want to launch it here. That's what it's like. And
where's the best place to go to launch it?
Well, I mean, I'm not a legal expert, so I don't know if I can comment. But I feel like countries like Dubai are pretty open to change. They've got kind of nothing to lose. So they don't have an existing banking infrastructure to protect. I mean, I still think Silicon Valley is pretty exciting. I mean, Tesla launched in Silicon Valley. They made their cars in California. I don't know if anyone ever saw the first Tesla. I did. It was a piece of shit. So making it in America is not good quality. Then they made it in China, and that car is solid.
They used the Lotus as the shell for the Roadster,
Lotus body,
which is English.
Yeah.
But it was weird. But then apparently Elon, although they used that body, because he's such a perfectionist, he then basically changed every single thing about it. That it was in the end, it basically wasn't a Lotus. He's like, yeah, the light shape needs to change, this needs to change, this needs to change, and it's nothing like it. But
it wasn't a good-looking car, though. Not at all.
Well, the number one car in Russia was the Lada, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I think the Lada was the original Fiat car. It was some original...
It's like a little compact car, isn't it?
Yeah, it was an original design. Basically, it's a lot cheaper just to buy an existing design and copy-paste than it is design a whole new car, because you have to do tooling, right? If you come up with a whole new car, you actually have to tool it. It's very expensive.
Volkswagen, like, all of their cars are all the same. A Polo is a Skoda, whatever. It's a Seat Ibiza. It's a Audi A1. It's all the same shape. Every single car, every single one has. It's basically
Tesla,
just one.
You strip a Tesla back, and Tesla is basically all the same technology. So the systems, everything. The only difference is the body shape. Everything else is the same parts. The battery, the distribution system, all of it is exactly the same. So that's the brilliance of Tesla. You know, it's not 1,000 parts. Like, you know, I've got an electric Mini, and it's literally like you're sitting in a NASA dashboard.
So all of their like hyper factories, whatever they call them, is that all just building exactly the same thing, and then the last process of the last part of the process is just put the body on?
It is a bit like Hewlett-Packard made a printer that will never run out of ink, and they said that's not good. We need to bake it so it runs out of ink. So they put ink cartridges in it, and then downgraded the different machines to print slower. So now they've got 3 categories: one with an ink cartridge that's less expensive, and one with an ink cartridge that's more expensive, and one that actually prints slower, and one that actually prints faster. So Tesla, kind of similar model. Let's have a car with low mileage on the charge. Let's have a car with high mileage on the charge. Let's have a car that has super performance. I can download on my app for my Tesla a package that makes the car go 10% faster. It's £1,500. When you think about it,
It's brilliant, actually, isn't it?
when you think about it, when you think about that, that's the most transparent version of like downgrade a product so you can upsell a product. So that system is, okay, let's downgrade it so it doesn't go as fast, and then he's going to spend £1,500 to upgrade it now. They could have just given me the car. It's a software update. It's nothing else, because I can press a button and have it today go faster.
You could like hack into it and not have to pay
It's a
that
software
or something.
update.
Yeah.
So it's the most blatant example of this brilliant marketing trick, which is make the best product possible, like the light bulb that never actually breaks, and then downgrade it so it breaks and we can make reoccurring income. The motivation of nearly every brand is how to make reoccurring income. It's not how to make a product that's best for the consumer and lasts forever. That's not economically smart, is it? I think it's a shame because we use less actual resources. Like, I actually think my Tesla will last forever. But what will actually happen is another, you know, it's fairly new, but like they'll just one day press a button and it will stop working properly.
The batteries, though, surely.
Well, of course, exactly.
Yeah.
They will make the batteries degrade because they want you to update and buy a new car. If you buy a Tesla once and you never have to buy another car again, Tesla will be bankrupt in 20 years.
But that really takes away from Elon's purpose, right?
But it's not really his fault. This is where conspiracy theory meets economic reality. You know, like
he needs to do it to further fund the purpose.
You cannot solve, and this is an interesting point, you cannot really, in my opinion, solve 2 purposes with one business. So is his purpose to never have another car, you know, made once you bought a Tesla? That's not his purpose. His purpose is to create a renewable way of funding the car's energy use, right? So that's why he has Solar City. He's thinking about how to make that car sustainable energy-wise. But if he plays 2 cards and tries to make it also a car that lasts forever, he won't make it because there's no renewable income to keep funding that dream. Now, who knows in the future? I mean, I always like the Patagonian model, right? Build up a $3 billion company and then give it away. I can see Elon doing that. I can see at some point he'll say, right, okay, we've built this $1 trillion company. We've got the renewable energy source coming in from solar panels, and that car now is not using fossil fuels. Fantastic. Now I'm going to give the car company to the public, and now you'll get a car for free every year, you know, blah, blah, blah. Something like that. I can see it. I mean, it would be smart for him to do that before he dies. You know, he could, with his cash in bank, could give every single homeless person in America somewhere to live.
I'm actually kind of interested in his succession plan, especially with the mission of going to Mars. Like, I'm sure we'll get to Mars.
Well, I think his succession plan is more about, and I think about this a lot. Like, if I die tomorrow, will it all carry on? While I'm alive, what can I do to make it work? But when I'm gone, I had that thought the other day. Like, if I die, can what we've built carry on? I think yes, actually, at this point.
What's the process?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the process is, systems and processes in place to make sure that it carries on after Simon's dead.
Partly when that's okay. Succession plan is a pretty interesting conversation to have, generally, right? But I had to do a will when my son was born. Really awkward.
Right.
When you do a will, have you ever done a will?
No.
It's really a fascinating process. First of all, you have to say, right, if I die, where does the money go? So, okay, you can argue it's obvious to my wife, right? If we both die, where does the money go? Because that's obvious, it goes to my son, right? If we all die, where does the money go? then you start having like really weird conversations about
Dogs trust or
that person
something.
can have a little bit. Well, yeah, sometimes that. So now you're going to give it to a dog. Some people leave it to their dog. So there's some dogs on this planet that have 50, 60, 70 million US dollars in their bank.
I meant the charity dogs trust.
No, I know.
Not like
but some people leave it to their dog.
A trust for a dog.
This actually has happened. People have left millions and millions of dollars to their dog.
That's a fat dog.
I guess what from a business point of view, it's really interesting to talk about succession, because I think not a lot of people think about how to make the business work without them in it. So you can create your own business, but then you can get trapped in your own business too. That's just as bad as working in a company and getting trapped. So I think, depending on your stages in life and where you're at and what you want, I do think having a succession plan is quite important. So for the record, if I die, there's a couple of options, right? One is you've got enough content for the next 3 or 4 months to keep the Simon Scribb stuff going, and maybe because I died, I'm a bit like Picasso, suddenly I'll be more popular. Yeah. So for a while, you might want to ride
Value
that train,
goes up,
right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, you might want someone jumping on the social media channels, carrying on with what I was doing, and just change the name to who either it is or the company, right? And continue to use that platform to promote people's dreams and help make them happen. And then on the marketing side, frankly, today we launched a video with you in it. My hope that those videos carry on, because then there's another person that can also do this work, or another person. So on this podcast, I hope you will become famous, because that's, if you want that, because that's, becoming famous is a dangerous thing to want, but that's another podcast for another time as well. But it cannot always be me. And I think for the first time, I really felt that the other day when we were out shooting. I was just like, no, I've had enough today. And the momentum was lost when we were talking about the YouTube video, and I felt like, it's good other people do some of this work. You still
wanted to get involved though. You had a little.
Well,
you saw Jack do it, like, oh, I want to get involved as well.
That's true, and I think that's because I enjoy doing it, and also I think me being in the video might help make it work a bit better. But I think eventually, like I do like businesses that don't require a particular human running it. And I worry for Tesla when Elon's gone. When he dies, the share price will drop 20%. When Steve Jobs died, Apple's share price dropped 15%, and now it's at all-time highs. To me, that's actually a sign of a good business. I think Apple has no purpose. I think they will collapse eventually because they have no purpose. But I do think that a succession plan where you accept that you are not immortal, you are likely to die. I mean, that's why I don't pump millions every day into this business, because I know that we have to build something strong from the foundation upwards that is sustainable, because hopefully I don't die, but I do want something that actually works as a business. And that's why I don't want it to be a charity either, because a charity means holding your hand out, please give us money, and then one day people can't afford to give you money and it collapses. I mean, all these charities collapsed during COVID because no one had spare money to give to the charities. So all these charities suddenly were broke. Right, a lot of dog shelters, animal shelters, lots of different businesses just suddenly had. I like businesses that are for profit, that do good. It's so underrated. But to make that happen, you have to be actually quite disciplined about how you build the business. And you have to have revenue streams that don't compromise your mission.
I'm going to bring it all the way back again for the people starting out, because
they left a long time ago, mate, those people. They've always started.
Maybe they're your biggest super fans who are the only ones that will sit through all of this. And they've watched so much Simon Scribb content that maybe they need you to turn to them and say, go and start a business, stop watching.
Go and start a business.
But any
business, by the way, it's a good start.
They found
any business?
It's a good start. Any business will be fine. Go clean cars. Go clean windows. Go clean swimming pools. Any business to start, doesn't matter. That's just training.
What about OnlyFans?
Up to you. I don't like those sorts of businesses because I think they're not real businesses.
You said any business.
No, okay, any business, but I don't consider them businesses. Like, you need something where it's actually a challenge to. Selling your body is inferior. It's just whip your clothes off. Any man's going to look at tits. It's not clever.
It's kind of the easy way out.
and same with housing. That's why I don't like housing. It's not anyone that's buying houses and renting them out. Fucking don't call yourself a business person. Just shut the fuck up.
What do you call them?
I call them
wankers.
Most of them are bankers. Most of them are finance people. They're not real businesses. Buying a house and renting it out, that's not a business. That is literally like bloodsuckers in society. I don't know why you're laughing, so I'm being serious about it. Right? I'm going to try and find the funny side. Why are you laughing about it? But yeah. What is a real business is a good question. But that's up to you, isn't it? So you guys are sending letters to us, and then we're opening them up and trying to help people with their dreams. Okay, pass the letter to Callum.
It's a T-shirt.
All right. What does it say? Smart souls, smart learning, smart learners.
Oh, this is purposeful. Oh, this is one of the ones we got on Christmas. One of the people that turned up on Christmas, I think.
Wow. Okay, go on then.
Right. There's a big title at the top of the page. It says, hashtag, please save our school from eviction, exclamation mark. 25th December 2023. It's been a little while.
Sorry if we're late.
Yeah, sorry about that. We get a lot of letters. Dear Simon, I really pray you and your loved ones are all well and enjoying a well-deserved rest during the holidays. Have you enjoyed the holidays, Simon?
Yeah, I did. It's a long time ago, but yeah.
I'm Razak. Let's get into it, my friend. Smiley face. What's my dream? I'm already living my dream. However, it's been feeling a devastating nightmare for many years. My dream is to promote the practice of gratitude throughout the world via the education system, a business school, social media, and by incorporating and facilitating community therapy, healing, and well-being. I founded a private tuition school in 2017, teaching maths, English, and science. However, the secret sauce we provide is the aftercare, the service, the mentoring, the unofficial counselling, subtly promoting gratitude throughout the culture of school. What's the problem / what help do we need? I have 3 main barriers at the moment. Number 1, health. I'm suffering with numerous chronic lifelong injuries from devastating incidents I experienced growing up, which require urgent operation. Mainly my right eye feels like it's permanently being stabbed with the pointy end of a knife. I was viciously attacked by a gang of 40 when I was 14, and I've been suffering ever since. I also suffer from TMJ, which leads to chronic migraines. I only stopped to notice that my body was in chronic pain just after COVID, which explains why the school has been ticking along ever since due to my new incapacity. My physical health is being exacerbated and unwritten by a lifelong mental health battle, which I am addressing. However, recovery feels impossible. I'm stuck in a vicious cycle because, number 2, cash flow issues, school premises facing eviction from landlord, outstanding wages to team. I've got bills to pay all day, every day. We need to pay our school landlord a large lump sum up front, 20 to 40k, to make them happy and negotiate long-term lease, which equals stability, which equals safe for me to start treatment. This is the main difficulty. The school is bringing in good, healthy cash every month. However, my bills are due before the cash comes in, so payments have been made late. Now the landlord, even though they've been very understanding all these years since COVID, they have now given us final notice, and estate agents are actively advertising and showing our premises to new potential tenants. Whilst I sit in my school, dying inside with a feeling of utter disappointment in my guts, trying desperately to rescue my baby. My team have been patient in the face of wages backlog. However, for a number of them, they've almost reached their limit of patience. Number 3, mentoring / accountability. Organising the administration and systemization of the school, my team is great and proficient, but I'm the wacky creative founder who's also a master procrastinator, classic bottleneck syndrome. As you said in one of your recent podcasts, you remedied this situation by hiring someone to do the stuff you're not great at. I think I might have skipped a bit, I don't know. Did I skip it? No. What's the background? I founded a private tuition company called Smart Souls in 2017. We teach maths, English and science to kids aged 5 to 18 from underprivileged ghetto-gutter backgrounds. By March 2020, brackets COVID lockdown, we had quickly expanded to 4 schools / branches with 400 students actively enrolled, and we were on track to gross approximately 500k that year. However, since COVID, we have centralized to 1 main school and one head office, future master school. Floating around 80 to 100 students actively enrolled, grossing between 100 to 150k per year. We're getting ready to scale, systemize, and go public. Best case scenario projections indicate we can scale to 1 million gross in 2024, approximately 25% net, increasing to 2 million gross in 2025, then 6 million in 2026. We have taught approximately 2,000 students since 2017. Most of our teachers / tutors are from the exact same demographic as our students, nevertheless working professionals. Future plans. Establish a school, scale, take public. Established Master School for the Gifted at our head office, which incorporates a business school and community therapy programs via multiple podcast and social media channels. Take over the world by spreading gratitude at every step, turning every negative thing into a thankful thing. Other/fun facts about me. I'm oh so close to embarking my social media journey. Graduated in English language and linguistics. Grew up with one foot firmly in inner city estate conditions, whilst also spending a number of years in the beautiful English countryside in Colchester. This contrasting experience drove me to help my community and all those in need, as I was always super grateful for my advantages. I was viciously attacked throughout my teens with life-threatening injuries, mainly because I stood up for justice while trying to navigate the ghetto crime-infested conditions I found myself in. It's okay, such tribulations made me the resilient yet tender person I strive to be today. My father passed at age 4. This set me up for a life of figuring it all out by myself. I have 15 nephews and nieces who I've nurtured from baby till now, and they are my motivation. One of my nephews, 18, sadly passed in a tragic car accident 2 years ago. Haven't processed this yet. I've got bills to pay. And he's linked to GoFundMe. I've also been subjected to a case of sexual abuse of vulnerable females spanning decades, the most difficult thing I have ever dealt with, as the tragedies which unfold threaten to split apart many families. Oh, and I got married in 2016, but it ended on the wedding day itself, and then ensued 3 years of hell, during which I started my schools. I'm hell-bent on transforming the education system. I will try to upload a video of my pitch today. We'll upload to, and he's left a YouTube link. I've spent my entire Christmas day finally motivated by your message today, preparing my pitch, off to the magic staircase of dreams in Twickenham. I hope I didn't overwhelm you. I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing the work you do. It has inspired me beyond belief. Thank you. Yours sincerely, Razak Alam, Smart Souls founder. And he's left the number.
Wow. That's a lot to process.
Yeah.
I missed that last bit. I didn't quite understand that last bit. What was...
Which bit?
I'm scared to say the words out loud, but the assault bit. What was the assault bit?
Oh, the abuse part, sexual abuse.
Attacked by a gang.
Later.
I've also been subjected to a case of sexual abuse of vulnerable females, spanning decades. The most difficult thing I've ever dealt with, as the tragedies which unfolded threatened to split apart many families. I'm not sure.
Wow. So, shall we ring them and just see how we can help?
Yeah. Numbers at the bottom. It's kind of wild.
Anybody? So I don't even know where to begin with. I just need to have a chat with someone with this sort of thing, isn't it? Like, where are they at now? What's happening?
And you pitched on Christmas Day as well, so he's one of those guys.
Did I just see? Is there a video?
He would have done, yeah.
I haven't seen
Sure.
it yet.
You might have just dropped off the letter. Some people just dropped off the letter. But you've written it on Christmas Day.
I don't think there's
It
a
says
video.
at the bottom about it being...
All the videos on Christmas Day, we did put up on Christmas Day.
Most, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we've put him up already. Just didn't see his letter.
I don't remember hearing about this. Oh, go away, messages.
Welcome to the EE voicemail. I'm sorry, but the person you've called is not available. Please leave your message after the tone. After you've finished your message, just hang up. Or to hear more options, please press 1.
Hi, this is a message from Simon Squibb from the staircase in Twickenham. You sent us a letter, and finally we've seen it. There's so many letters that have dropped in the letterbox, it got buried. But we've now read it. Wow, what a story you've got. And I'm sitting here with my team and on live, just thinking about how we can help you, what you actually need. So if you get a chance, ring back this number, and we're here to try and help you if we can, in any way we can. Okay.
Cool.
Do we want to keep going? Do we actually get through to someone?
Can do.
All right.
It was hand delivered though, so they might have a pitch. Lots hand delivered.
Anyone on the live saying, open mine, open mine? No. Well, opening letters from the staircase, folks. Some new people come in the room.
How many do we have in the live?
127 at the moment.
Cool.
Special.
Top of it.
Do you, maybe come round and have Simon face on. I know it sounds silly, but they might not recognise him from the side of the head. Yeah, like just, yeah, sweet.
Show the address for people that don't know.
Okay. Dear Simon, my dream is to open a telemedicine company in
I think I'm less dyslexic.
Sub-Saharan
Let's not have
Africa
a
and
dyslexic
Nigeria.
person reading. Go. Stop.
I'll try and improve. Actually.
Focus on what you're good at. Everything.
Yeah, that's
genius.
true, yeah.
Dear Simon, my dream is to open a telemedicine company in Sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria, so as to help solve the challenges of the healthcare systems on the continent. 13 years ago, my late father was wrongly diagnosed and led to his untimely death. He was just 44 years old. My company, Jura, will help provide a healthcare platform which enables persons to have access to healthcare professionals at the comfort of their own homes using a video call. Simon, it would shock you to know that Sub-Saharan Africa has a population of 1.6 billion
This is
people.
turning into a teach people read class.
No,
I like it.
it's not.
It's like
because
when-
it's not
like when you
written
were in an English class. you
English
get
is
people
not
to
his
read,
first
you know?
language, bless him.
All right. Oh, it's his fault
I don't think it is.
that you're dyslexic.
It's not written. I'm reading it how it's written.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
of
I'm
course.
not that bad.
It's
No.
the cadence as well.
Sub-Saharan Africa has a population of 1.4 billion people, and 69% of that population does not have access to a general practice, GP. And over 45% has never visited a hospital or healthcare centre in their entire life. We are building our website using durable.ai. Our website is jura.mydurable.com. We need your help to make this dream a reality. My regards, Wamati Mark Imgi.
Good. I'll ring him.
Numbers on the bottom.
Okay. Person that was rude to me in comments, have they replied? That's what I'm. Okay, let's have a little ring of
It kind of is the address.
Warmate.
Kind of.
I think Royal Mail can do anything.
I know, Royal Mail are actually
They
impressive.
know it.
How
I
impressive.
had Royal Mail yesterday.
These are always different. HelpBnk House, the Staircase of Dreams.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's the address of the front, which is King Street, and sometimes it's the address
They
of the
know,
back,
they
which is
know.
Holly Road.
But-
Before we make the call, can we just say how they can send the post in? Just have a few questions about it.
Yeah, show the envelope so
Yeah.
people can see the address.
Well,
Show the address.
okay. All right, it's kind of the address. That we get lots of different addresses.
This one's better.
If you
Yeah.
type in Simon Squibb doorbell, it will come up.
Right, so this is the address you need to send it to.
Screenshot now, everyone. Screenshot.
Yes, James getting stuck in.
Yeah, get in there.
Good enough?
He actually has the best name ever. And maybe my dyslexic brain's reading it. Warmate.
Oh, mate.
No.
You'd want to be friends with him in a war.
No, it's Warmate.
Sorry.
Warmate.
Warmate.
It's 2 words.
Science Warmate.
Why are you making everything French? Warmate.
It's for.
It's Warmate. Warmate. All right, mate? Let's ask
It's
him.
your Warmate.
Want a bet? Warmate.
Open the call with that. All right.
Warmate. Warmate.
My name is Mark. Please call back.
Take your call right now. Just leave your message after the tone. When you're done, press hash or just hang up.
Hi, Mark. This is Simon calling from the staircase. You pitched your dream to us, and I've got to your letter, and we are calling you to see how we can help you. I'm live now on TikTok, and I'm here with my team, and we just want to help make your dream happen in any way we can. So, unfortunately, we couldn't get hold of you, so I'm leaving you this message. We were also wondering what your first name and how you say it is. Is it Warmate or Walmart? Let us know, and call us back, and we look forward to meeting you and helping you in any way we can. Someone's now calling me. Goodbye.
Hello.
Hello, is that Warmate?
Yeah, this is Warmate, Simon.
How do you say your name? Is it Warmate? Warmart?
Yeah, Warmate, yeah.
Warmate! See? Not Warmart.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Love it. Love your name. Warmate. You can't forget, that's a great brand, by the way. Warmate. You should.
I'm excited.
Nice to speak to you. How's it going?
I'm good. Nice to speak to you.
Likewise. Thank you for sending a letter to the staircase and pitching your dream to us. Really inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I didn't know the facts that you mentioned in about 1.4 billion people and that whole thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. So actually, I came to the UK to do my master's. I'm done with my master's. I studied international relations at the University of Essex,
Right.
in Colchester town.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So before I came to the UK, I worked in the medical health industry for medical tourism for the past 5 years now.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah. So when I read your letter, I think to myself, what can we do to help you? What? And people are listening on live now as well, and my team are sitting here. We're like, what can we do to help you? What is it you need?
Oh, okay. Simon, firstly, because of the complication in sub-Saharan Africa, we're trying to build a usable website for the company so that patients can be able to connect with their doctors one-on-one. Then second part of it is branding. I believe that your space can enable us to brand, to bring a lot of innovative ideas for us to brand in that region in sub-Saharan Africa, because we are looking at not just Nigeria, Kenya, Rwanda, and all parts of sub-Saharan Africa. So branding, creation of websites, that's what we are looking at basically. And a lot of marketing for people to know that healthcare is not just meeting doctors and patients. And because in Nigeria, where I've worked for 5 years, what patient does is that they see their doctors and discuss their issues. But I came to the UK and I saw that it's different. People have GPs that they can call, they can book appointments with. We don't have that in sub-Saharan Africa. A lot of people do not even have access to medical facilities and medical doctors at per hand as we have in the UK. So for me, I feel that a lot of our people in sub-Saharan Africa deserve that opportunity to do that. And also, there's a lot of our people going outside sub-Saharan Africa for medical tourism, spending a lot of millions of dollars to seek doctors' appointments and all of that. We can reduce that cost and make sure that a lot of our people have the benefits, to do the right thing at all times. So for me, you and your team can come in with marketing. You want to market our brand for us, help us build a brand for us, and also help us achieve the website. That's what you're looking at.
Okay, you speak so fast. I didn't catch a lot of it. I think I caught the basics. So what's stopping this from working? Is it working? I don't actually understand what you're exactly missing and what you're trying to do. What's stopping it from working? Can you not, for example, already generate some sponsorship or revenue to help with this? What's going on? Speak slowly for me, because I for some reason I can't quite catch it. Just speak really slow. Okay. Speak like I'm an idiot. You're clearly smart, and I just want to speak slowly. Just imagine you're speaking to an idiot.
Don't have to imagine. What's stopping us now currently, Simon, is the fact that we do not have funding to build our website accurately. The website I shared with you, if you look at the place, it was built from durable AI. So it was just built.
So you used AI to build a website and it's not good. Is that your problem?
No, it's what I'm saying is that it's not linked. I'm not a web developer, so I just did a little bit of piece that I can do together,
But it's a really simple thing, this sort of thing, like building a website. Like, for example, I use GoDaddy. They're actually a partner of ours now, but I partner with them because you can get a template on their system. And, I used to own a web design agency. Oh, that's a funny noise there. What's that? Yeah, flushing the toilet or something? What's that? Anyway, there's a funny noise then in the background. I don't know what that was. But anyway, what I'm saying to you is that building a website is not a big deal anymore. You can get a template and build the website. It's really easy. So I don't, and it's free. Like on GoDaddy, you can have a free website template. So I don't know what is so complicated about the website. Why does it need to have a lot of money spent on it?
Oh, okay. We're not looking at a lot of money. What we are looking at is a website where patients and doctors can connect. It's not just a portfolio website. We're looking at a website that can connect patients to doctors where they can.
So what's when you say connection? Well, tell me how that works. How does the system connect? What do you mean connection?
Oh, okay. What we are looking at basically is that a patient goes to our website and books an appointment with a medical doctor.
Wow. Okay.
Either through video call or through the normal call. And so then the other side of the website is doctors. Doctors generally, general practice, oncologists, different consultants can board our website where they are there, and where they are there as members already registered, and they are there on the website. So patients will just come and book an appointment with the doctor, and they can interface either through video call or through normal phone calls. So that's where we are.
And this is all based in Africa?
Yes, Sub-Saharan Africa. It's all based in Sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at.
But is the internet, prevalent there? Can everyone get online in that way, or
Yeah, currently the internet is very good now in Sub-Saharan Africa. If you look at fintechs are doing so well in Sub-Saharan Africa. The internet is fantastic. It's just that a lot of our people do not have access to, like I said in that letter, do not have access to these doctors part-time, and a lot of people have to queue up for hours and hours and days and weeks to book for appointment and get hospital cards, and they couldn't see the doctors that they want to see at the time.
So again, let me understand it. Have you got the doctors lined up? Why would the doctors help for free? Are the doctors helping for free?
Oh, okay. Like I said, I worked in medical evacuation and tourism for the past 5 years before I moved to the UK to do a master's. And the doctors can help for free because I have a whole lot of network of doctors all across Sub-Saharan Africa who has worked with us in medical tourism and evacuation field. What they can do, why they will help to work for us for free, is the fact that they understand the system in Sub-Saharan Africa. Also, there is brain drain in Sub-Saharan African system, and also there's a lot of our doctors moving from Sub-Saharan Africa to Europe and the UK and all of that for greener pasture. So these doctors who are consultants, who believe in the African vision, who believe in Sub-Saharan Africa, are willing to work with us to help those patients get the required consultation and treatment that they need at the required time. However, like I said, one of the challenges that we have is the fact that we want to link them together in a website where it will be easy for them to just connect and have that meeting. So that's it.
But again, I still see it as a pretty simple website. It's not a complicated website, right? It's you can even use existing technology like Calendly. Do you know Calendly?
Yeah, I know Calendly. Yeah.
So why can't you just use that system on a website for now to test out this model? Don't spend a lot of money on a website without having a simple way of testing it that is actually going to work. And if you use that software, it's free initially. Of course, you can pay for the upgraded system, but the initial system is free, and you can test out whether someone will book it or not and get a case study. Because once you've got a case study, you can raise investment and you can get partners on board, and you've got proof that your service is real, and have an MVP, what we call an MVP, a website up. Right?
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
So why not do that? What's wrong with that? Is it you want the perfect website from day one, is it?
No. For me, I don't even want the perfect website. Like for me, I like taking baby steps. For me, but one of the other things apart from the website is the fact that I want to start immediately because I want to take baby steps. Like I said, do it immediately, just like you said. And one of your messages on Instagram, you said it's only those who are brave that can ask for help. So I'm asking for help because I feel that starting is good. Starting a thing is good, but
yes. So I understand. I do get it. I am helping you. I'm giving you advice, right? The most valuable thing I've got is time, and I'm saying to you that the best thing you could do is not go build Calendly again. We're connecting people to an appointment with a doctor. Don't go reinvent the wheel and spend potentially tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands on that system. There's one off the shelf. You can just use it and plug that into a free website from GoDaddy, and then you can start trying to connect doctors and patients, And if that works, you've got a case study to take to investors or partners. So I'm telling you, the best thing you can do is not spend 5 months plus lots of money developing a complicated website without testing it first through the method. You could literally set this up tomorrow. You know, even if I gave you the money to build a website, you're still going to take a long time to build it from scratch. Don't do that. Use the existing technology that's there to try this out.
Yeah. Sure.
Save time and money, right? I'm totally up for throwing a load of money at you, but I don't want you to go and spend months. If I give you the money, then you go spend months building it. I've not done you a service. I've done you I've not helped you. You know, like it's just made me look good giving you money, but it hasn't actually helped you, right? The best thing you can do is go use these free tools and build a system that allows you to connect the two parties you're talking about and have case study that the system is something that the community wants, that's something that doctors will actually engage on, and that would be the smart step to take first now. And you can do it tomorrow. You can have this up and running by tomorrow, right?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
So, yeah, I guess you know, sometimes when people are asking for help, they're actually asking the wrong question. People will say, "Give me money," but actually, you know, money can cause problems. If I give you the money for the website, you know, as I say, 5 months later the website is built, but it might not even work and it might not even be correct for what you're trying to do. Whereas if you use the free tools, you try it out, you'll find out what the problems people have are. Time differences, time zones, and then you realize you need a clock. Maybe the actual service itself needs a better description. Maybe the doctors don't understand how it's actually working in the sense of what they get out of it, right? All of these things, all these legal things, especially when you're talking about medical advice. Medical advice and in Africa scares me as a concept. You know, like you got to be careful, right? Who's the vetting process for onboarding a doctor should be quite an important thing for you to work on. More important, I would argue, than the website booking system.
Yes. For me, that's not an issue for the vetting system because I've worked with the National Medical Association of Nigeria for many years. 5 years now, like I said, I've worked with a lot of doctors across Sub-Saharan Africa. We know the big doctors in Sub-Saharan Africa. We know the consultants. We know how, we know all of the processes that makes us know that this is a genuine doctor from the fakes and all out there. So that's not the problem for me. Okay,
so I mean, I don't quite understand where you're at in the journey, but you know, you want to make sure you've qualified and quantified 200 top doctors, right? How many have you got right now?
Currently, I have 450 doctors.
450?
Yes.
Quantified, you know that they're honest, reliable, trustworthy?
Yes, 450.
Brilliant, that's great work. And then on the client, on the people that need the service side, what have you done there?
On the people that need the service side, currently what I'm looking at basically is to start after booking the system is to start working with hospitals that have those challenges, especially public sector hospitals and private hospitals.
So you're expecting these infrastructure organizations to refer you? Is that what you're expecting?
Yes.
Have they said they will do that? Because that's quite a big thing. You know, if they have a patient, to actually refer to a third party is quite dangerous for them, right? Do you know there's a company that does this exact thing already, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. I interviewed the guy that founded the company once a long time ago. He's a doctor himself. What's his name? Do you know who I'm thinking of?
I have a vague memory, but
for some reason he's bald. I can't remember the name of the company now. He worked with the NHS in the UK and built their
Good Luck Club or
yeah.
Good Luck Club or Pep Talk.
I think it was Good Luck Club. I think it was I can't remember his name. There's someone that's built a system like this in the UK, you know, and I can't remember the name. It's going to come to me in a minute. But there's an NHS. Basically, they did it through COVID so that people could get a doctor's appointment over Zoom, sort of thing, and it was very successful. And it listed as well, and now I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, that, you know, of course, that's good validation to have a case study in England that's actually done it. But I'm also thinking, maybe you want to speak to that guy, how he got through the legal side, because there's a legal issue here, right?
Yeah, it is. There is. But like I said, for me, it's easy for me because I've been in the industry for over 5 years. My bosses have been in that industry for medical tourism for the past 15 to 20 years. So basically, this concept is what I introduced to my older company while I was in Nigeria before I left for the UK. But they saw it as an idea that for them, they felt it was too much for them to integrate it into their system. So they just said, oh, no, we can't do it for now and all of that. But it has been with me since before I left the UK before I left Nigeria in 2022 and came to the UK to do a master's. So for me, I feel
my instinct on your business model is that you can't rely on that third party to refer you. I think you need a public campaign of some sort. I think you need the direct consumer to know your service. I've got a feeling the institutions will have a hard time recommending your product. They're very scared to refer an external party, and patient data and all that. It's pretty sensitive for them, right? I might be wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know how it works in Africa.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. In Sub-Saharan Africa, like I said, in Sub-Saharan Africa, it's quite different from how things have been handled. Yeah, in different parts of the world. Like in Sub-Saharan Africa, and because of the fact that doctors and hospitals have trusted me enough, I've been a business development executive for medical tourism in Sub-Saharan Africa for the past 5 years. And I've built relationships with a lot of doctors, consultants, HMOs, health facilities, and all of that. So referring patients to us through third parties would be easy because a lot of the doctors and hospital owners, CMDs, they already know me in person. And for me, that's the advantage I'm taking.
Okay, I've got it. Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I don't know the full ins and outs, but you sound like you've got the really difficult things, under lock. You've got the doctors on board. You sound like you've got a referral system that you can make happen based on your reputation and back history. Frankly, I think you're making an excuse with the website. The website is easy. Come on, go.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Is there anything else I can do to help you at this stage?
Okay. Basically, like I said, I will give it a try. Go. Tomorrow, I think I should just start with Calendly and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, give it a go. And let us know how you get on. But you can also, are you anywhere near Twickenham? Where do you live?
I live in Romford.
Okay.
Essex.
Maybe when you're next in London, actually make a video at the staircase, because then we can upload it and promote it better than just a letter.
Oh, okay. I will do that.
Okay, but get the website up and running and use the tools that are free, because that is the quickest way to do it anyway. They're already built. Those tools are already built. It's saving time and money. They're already built. Test it out. Get a few people booking. Get some case studies going, and that'll make it easier for you to get an investment. And if you need a proper website, it's not just building it; it's maintaining it as well. So don't go for that too depth too quick. I've built many websites in my career. The mistake I've made is spending a year building a site and not build up the client base interaction piece. So build an MVP, build something that's using existing technology to get it done quickly. And again, GoDaddy, the website templates are free. Calendly is free. You connect the two together, you've got a booking engine. Done. That will be up and running tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck. Stay in touch. Good vision.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, thank you.
See you, buddy.
All right.
By the way, you guys got any opinion or advice?
What was the point in that? Arsehole.
Bring him back.
All right, thank you guys for watching this podcast. At long last, it is over. I'm not sure how long it's been. But goodbye. See you next time.
We are going to try and do this podcast regularly. So stay tuned for more boring, long podcasts where you get no value.
Nah, Will's going to edit it down. Will's got it.
Yeah, Will's going to make it good.
I'm excited to see the improvements each time.
Yeah, we need
back
to work on
on
your
more.
posture.
Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
So my mic's a bit too low.
In case we all wanted a normal outro.
Lol. Terry said lol.
Let's go.
We're doing a podcast. Lol, Terry. We're finished.